Hey guys, Dr. Corey here, and today we are going to kind of go through a patient or client journey, okay, or path throughout our system, all right? And kind of what this looks like. I'm going to say high level on this one. We'll really drill down into deeper levels with each one of these so you guys kind of understand the science behind it and why we do certain things. But this, the purpose of this video is to really stay high level, but just to map out a 600-foot overview of what your journey is going to look like, okay, or potentially look like. So when you look at this, you know, we start off, most people, with what we call a lose phase, right? Because by the time we get our individuals or patients in our office, they're struggling with usually weight management, right? Meaning there's frustrating areas that are on their body. They feel like, you know, it's just been more of a struggle to lose weight. What they've done in the past seems to be more and more difficult, if not even, you know, possibly not even working like it used to. And that's the frustration. And we know that that is due to them becoming hormonally storing, right? So instead of using fat as energy, their body is choosing to store it, and they're using more on the glucose side of things. So as far as nutrition, we have 3 different phases when it comes into your nutritional care here with the core system. So the first phase is going to be what we call our lose phase, okay? This is also a metabolic reset, all right? So this is where we start to really focus on changing those hormones back into that burning state. So that first 30 to 40 days is what we call a metabolic reset, all right? So that's where it starts. After that, we go into what we call our burn phase, all right? So in that burn phase, more healthy fats are added, okay? Because at this point, you're fat adapted, meaning by the time that 30 to 40 days happens, your body is starting to utilize fat as energy, okay, as its only energy source. So at that point, we're going to continue to ride that train, meaning we're going to give the body its healthy fats, but we're going to start working macros. We're going to create a deficiency of it, okay? So we're going to set you up for a deficiency, meaning your output is going to be greater than your input, okay? At that point, it still allows you to utilize fat as energy, but it's going to allow you to start tapping into or continue to tap into the fat reserves that you have on your body, okay? So it continues to burn fat. At this point in your journey, though, we are going to introduce a lot more aerobic focused exercise as well as anaerobic, okay? So anaerobic really comes back in at this point in your journey. Now, here's where things get really more personalized, okay, based on what your goals are. So let's say you get to lose phase, all right? So you go through lose phase. Let's say you drop 20 pounds and things are happy. And at burn phase, you know, we're going to, the loss will slow a little bit, all right? It's never going to be as fast as what it is going to be on the lose phase. So we get into that burn phase, we keep you burning, however, things slow. Let's say you've got another 30, 40 pounds that you want to get off of you. Your journey would look like this, okay? So you get to that lose phase, we get into burn phase for at least 2 weeks, because we got to bring those healthy fats back in to make sure that, you know, we're not voiding the body of healthy fats for too long. But then what we'll do, if you have, like I said, I would say more than 10 pounds to lose, we would go back to the start of that lose phase, go through that hyperstimulation phase again, and you work through the lose phase again, and then back in the burn phase. And you continue this cycle until you are down to that like 5-pound mark, all right? So 5 pounds left until you hit your physique that you're happy with, all right? At that point, instead of that 2 weeks of burn, you would simply stay in that burn phase a little bit longer, okay? So this 2-week burn phase could become 6 weeks, could become 60 days, could become 90 days, all right? So the maximum I like to keep people in a burn phase would be a maximum usually of 90 days. So you could kind of slowly get rid of that 5-10 pounds in that burn phase over 90 days. So that's kind of that journey, okay? So just to clarify, everybody starts that hyperstimulation phase and that lose phase. They go through that lose phase through that metabolic reset. Okay, this is also a very gut-friendly protocol, gut-friendly nutrition. So we work through that. All right, then we've got to add healthy fats back in. That's the burn phase. Also an increase of movement and exercise is in this burn phase. And if you have more than, I always say, 5 pounds, 10 pounds, you're going to continue this journey over and over until you hit those goals, okay, of I made it or I've got 5 pounds left. At that point, this burn phase can really take over and clean you up the rest of those 5 pounds. Okay, now there's this big line here. Okay, and I should actually make this even bigger. Okay, there's this red line right through here, and that is called the line of into lifestyle. Okay, so we do not cross that line. All right, we don't go into that line until you have got your ideal physique, your ideal goals, okay, until you've reached them. Okay, so we don't cross this line until we've reached our goals. We're going to stay in this type of nutrition until we get our fat off of our body and until we're happy with that. All right, so you're going to be playing in this area until you've reached your goals. Now, once your goals have been met, meaning, Dr. Gore, I made my goals, I'm X% body fat, I'm happy, I love it, this is where I want to be, I feel confident, I made it, right? At that point, you are now opening the door, okay, or crossing the line into lifestyle. And the reason I'm really stressing that is because these are two different things. And you watch my video on, why some people get frustrated, and I'll quickly overview that video, but here's what creates the frustration is people do lifestyle type of things and expect weight loss type of results, or vice versa. They do weight loss types of things and expect lifestyle type of results. You can't do them. They're different things. They're different things biochemistry-wise, okay? It does not work. So you choose, and that's why we are crossing over a line when we're finally into lifestyle. Lifestyle macros change. More carbohydrate intake happens, more on the complex side, right? Macros adjust, and now we're into lifestyle, okay? Lifestyle is really important for multiple reasons. I'm gonna do a whole video on this. But one is making sure your macros are correct and set up for you on lifestyle, all right? What does that mean? When your coach gives you your macros, I would say at least for a week, log them and log everything you're eating so you can start figuring out what is this pattern going to look like to maintain your physique. So important, okay? Because what happens is a lot of people, as we get busy in life, we're fat adapted, we don't really have an appetite, and we get to this line and we just purely don't eat enough. Okay, at that point, you no longer have fat reserves to tap into. So you can't not eat enough, right? So you've got to make sure you hit your macros to make sure we maintain this fat-free mass on our body. That's our furnace, that's our metabolism that's working for us. We got to make sure we're feeding that and maintaining that, because there's no more reserves to tap into, guys. All your energy is going to come from here, from what we're eating. So that's why it's so important to make sure that you log at least a week to 2 weeks to understand what these macros are going to look like in life. Also, once we cross this line, this is an opportunity to bring in more functional foods, okay? Bring in more medically based approved foods to help you with convenience, all right? Convenience can come into play here now. Also, workouts can be dialed up. I mean, now you're hitting that lifestyle, just guns a-blazing with, a couple of days of aerobic, a couple of days of anaerobic. You've got your mobility built in there. We got a really well-rounded program that's really working for you. Your weight training, you're keeping fat-free mass going. It's just, it's there, okay? And that, like I said, is all lifestyle, and your macros will adjust accordingly, depending on what you're doing. So that is kind of an overview. And I think where a lot of people go wrong is this is kind of what the journey looks like, is in their mind, they've got, okay, I see all these before and afters, I see 8 weeks, so I'm going to come into this metabolic reset in 8 weeks, 30 to 40 days, right, and a little bit in that burn phase, and then I'm out, right, and then I'm done. And yeah, and that's not necessarily the best journey for you. There is no done. Done doesn't happen until you're here, until you're in lifestyle, guys. And at that point, we'll have other different options for you to choose there. But done happens here. If you still have weight management to lose, and we need to continue to either stay in burn, or re-go through a lose phase in order to kind of get you to where you want to get to. That way, everybody's happy when you're getting to this line, okay? So don't make that mistake of, in your mind, 8 weeks, we hit there, we still have weight to lose. Now you no longer have the next step, okay? So there is no goal, there is no next step. So then what happens is, or what can happen in an individual, is the next step is given to you, okay? I did a video on this, but the next step is given to you. And unfortunately, that gift is not really a gift because society gives it to you, and that thing you're given, meaning when you don't have a goal, you're given the default of put on 30 pounds, right? So nobody wants that gift. But if you don't have the next step, that's unfortunately what you're dealt, because society is set up. Look at the stats. You're going to put on 30. 40% of Americans are obese for a reason. Society is not set up correctly. Okay, so we always got to have that next step. Now, lifestyle is simple. Okay, lifestyle you can have, we go by yellow light, red light, green light. Pizzas can come back in. Ice creams come back in. All those things come back in lifestyle. So you're never going to feel neglected when you do this properly. All right, the key is just keeping yourself metabolically active and keeping yourself burning. Also, how you win is you start learning how to take a red light food, so like ice cream, right? So you learn how to take a red light ice cream and you make it a yellow light. You make it something you can have weekly. Okay, we buy better things. We replace. We buy healthier ice creams, healthier chips, healthier pastas, healthier breads. You learn that. So when you get into this lifestyle, you never feel neglected. Okay, take myself as an example. At one point in my journey, I was a very carb-driven individual. Okay, to the point where I had candida, and I had massive problems, I had anxiety, I had all those things, broken gut. All right, and now in lifestyle, I do not miss anything. I feel like I've always have a solution. I have my bread solution. I have my pasta. I have my ice creams. I have everything I want. And the good news is I actually have health. Okay, so I get that gift of health, and I get to stay lean. I get to stay full of energy, and I get to stay healthy. And like I said, I never feel that neglect or something's been removed from me. Okay, so that is kind of an overview of the journey. We'll dive deeper, but hopefully this wraps up any kind of confusion of what your journey is going to look like. And like I said, it's going to depend on you. All right, if you need more to lose, then get back there and just keep grinding through this thing. Each time going through that hyper stimulation phase, so we boost that metabolism again, and we keep rolling through that. Now the second, third, fourth times through on a metabolic reset, you're not going to get that first 20 some pounds, 30 pounds, 40 pounds that maybe you got the first route, okay? Because you're not changing hormones as much, right? They're starting to stabilize a little bit, okay, which is a good thing. So don't expect another 30, another 40 off of you when they're going back to back like that. It's going to decrease a little bit as far as what's coming off, all right? So don't get frustrated with that. It's still going to be much faster than if you were to go kind of into that burn phase. So also, second time through in this metabolic reset phase, you can increase your movement much greater, okay? Because you're not going through all those biochemistry changes that happen in the first phase where we say, hey, let's just focus on very light aerobic. At this point, you can go a little bit more longer aerobic, all right? I would still stay away from, weight training or things like that because the macros won't be quite set up for this, all right? So I would still stay shy a little bit of doing some of those like very intense, a lot of weight training based stuff. That happens a little bit further down when your macros are set up for that. So hopefully this guys answer your questions. Love your pattern. Everybody's different. You do you. At the end of the day, we got to get to this line where you love your physique, and then from there, we're learning and focusing on lifestyle. So be great, everyone.